Hello, gaming affiliates, and welcome to GAU's The Summit, the show where we discuss the latest in gaming news and discussions, and we get to the bottom of the problems that are plaguing the gaming industry, and even some trends in upcoming games throughout the whole gaming industry. I'm your host, Drew D3 Freyer, live from the Microsoft Store in the Prudential Center. This is GAU Summit. My associates here are Eric.
Oh, I'm Eric Rickety Beans Urbino. You may know me from Styx, and I'm also the editor-in-chief at GAUstudios.com.
We have Frank.
Yeah, I'm Frank. Frank Duran, and I am the host of Real Books Don't Have Batman podcast. I'm really excited to be on here.
And Oz.
I'm Oz, Sanguinary Oz. I'm just here as the professional gamer on staff.
I'd like to note that I'm excited to be here. I don't want Frank to be the only excited one.
I'm pretty excited.
I didn't think we were allowed to because you took that.
Well, I'm not excited, so I'm going to lead the discussion today. Now, I've noticed a trend in a lot of upcoming games, and games that are out and are getting really popular, that games are starting to look a lot like television and movies, and it seems like they're taking the player out of the game in a lot of these things. It's more of a sit and watch experience as opposed to a sit and play experience. Have you guys seen this? Do these games appeal to you?
I'd like to start this off by saying that Heavy Rain is a fantastic game. Heavy Rain is fantastic.
True.
Whether you want to call it
Doesn't even discuss anything. Just straight up, Heavy
Rain.
Rain.
No discussion.
I'm just going to say that's
Just a review.
I mean, Beyond Two Souls, not so much. And the reason
Ellen
is...
Page is in that one. Come on.
Well, I mean, Ellen Page, she's cool and all. Juno is great. But I think the point is that Heavy Rain was a way better game than Beyond Two Souls. And I would like to agree with Drew. You know, they are becoming a lot more like movies. I don't mind that cutscenes are like movies because I've been playing Metal Gear Solid forever. So I'm very used to watching 30-minute cutscenes. But Heavy Rain is a great game, and Beyond Two Souls would make a great movie.
So
Give us an example.
Yeah,
let's start from a basic level with this discussion.
I'm a film student, so like, I love film. I like live, breathe it. So
what
to
aspects of film do you see coming into games?
You see that beautiful cinematography.
Yeah.
Finally, games are realizing that they need to be beautiful all the time because they're not. Because you used to see in old games, whenever they would be like a discussion, the camera would be like behind their head and up, which was terrible. Why would you put a camera here? So now they're just thinking, where do you place the camera? I don't think it's like
Two Worlds,
games.
the camera's right there for the discussions. I mean,
It's cinematography.
Yeah,
is
it's
what-
cinematography. It's like where you got to place the camera, where you got to place it, because no gamer wants to sit there and be like, I think I'm glitching into a mountain with this camera. I don't know, like, you want to see beautiful things, and I think there's games like Two Souls and Alan Wake and stuff like that where you could just sit there and watch a game, but there's a difference between like Metal Gear, which is just like starting to become more of like an action movie, like it's like watching like Taken 3 but in a game.
It's interesting you
I have a
mentioned
unique
Metal
set
Gear
of
2.
skills.
Well,
Metal Gear has some of the longest cutscenes in gaming history, and it seems to be a trend that's becoming more and more. And like Telltale is now releasing 5 different franchises that are basically like one big long movie that's choose your own adventure style.
I think it's good and bad though. I mean, in terms of the two kind of sharing a lot of similarities, I think that you're right. I think that having good cinematography and like we talked about in the Two Worlds, even though it's a terrible game, like the backgrounds are there, so they're trying to put in the higher production value for the whole experience.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're similar. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that they're similar. I think that it's probably a positive for video gaming that they're sort of realizing there are more aspects than, oh, does the guy punch really hard, and like are the enemies cool looking? Do they look scary? Like, you need more than that. So I think that it's good. I don't think it's necessarily a downside that they are.
No, I think making something beautiful and have more craft in it is always great. I think if they actually put that thought into making the game beautiful, that's not a bad thing.
Now, do you guys like the type of play style where it's sit back and let the game happen to you? Is that
Do
something
you
that
guys
appeals
like
to you guys?
God of War?
Oz is shaking his head.
I love God of War. God of War doesn't do that though. I don't know. I don't like Beyond Two Souls because I'm like, I want to like play a game, but at the same time I loved Metal Gear Solid 4 because I got that action sequence that I got to partake in, and then I'll sit back and watch a story for a half hour. I don't mind it. Well, what do you think?
I think there needs to be like a nice balance. And I mean, and everybody's gonna be different. Every gamer has their own sort of preferences or whatever. But I think a game like we talk a lot about Mass Effect because it's one of those games
Yep.
that's kind of down the middle.
You talk a lot about Mass
It's
Effect.
that good. It's down the middle, or even like Halo Reach. Like Halo Reach is an action game. I mean, it's a shooter. It's in the Halo franchise, so it's pretty traditional in terms of what you're going to get. But all the cutscenes are great. Like in Reach, every single cutscene is spectacular, and everything looks gorgeous because Bungie's like extra polished in terms of what they're doing, and like the cutscenes, they sort of carry you from one chapter to the next, and they drive the story forward. Because let's be honest, I mean, in the regular play modes, there's not really a lot of story going on. It's like, oh, here comes the Covenant, they're going to kill you. You need to murder all of them. And you're like, all right, and you go and you murder them all. And then in the cutscene, it's like, oh, well, thank God you killed them. Here's why. And then there's the next step. So I think there needs to be a balance. But there's also games like, did anybody play Asura's Wrath?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful game.
It's gorgeous, but it's like directing an anime. Like there's very little gameplay.
why I liked it.
It's beautiful. There's very little gameplay, but again, like we've talked about before, the story was great, the cinematography was great, the game is beautiful. So I didn't mind that I wasn't doing that much because it was really fun.
I think you have to commit. I think a game can't, like, it can be both things, but like you have to like commit to having beautiful like cinematography. You have to, like Asura's Wrath, you watch and you play. Like the moment it becomes like a contextual situation, you join in. But most of the time you're sitting there being like, oh yeah, this anime's badass.
Oh yeah. Now you see, I think this is a trend that we're like heading towards as gamers, is being taken out of the game more and more. If you look at the generation we have right now we're trending more than ever at people watching games instead of playing them. Twitch TV and the Let's Play industry is huge. People would even much rather watch a game now than buy it and play through it themselves.
Absolutely.
I think that I already see where Eric's going. I already see him getting worked out. It's I think it's because the amount of gamers keeps growing, but I think the percentage of people that like to watch games is staying about the same. It might be increasing
I don't
a little
know.
bit.
I never thought I would watch games until I started working for GAU, and then I've been watching Twitch, and I'm like, why am I watching this?
Yeah, but I don't watch Twitch to watch someone play through the game. I watch.
I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing
The reason I watch Twitch is I watch to watch the gameplay. I watch to be like, should I buy this game or not? Also, the host who's ever talking about it, I wouldn't say that a game is becoming a movie as much as like it's fun to watch somebody play games just as much as it's fun to watch your buddy play a game and talk about it at the same time.
Well, see, you're
what
a
I think
fringe
is
user.
what I think is so great is that video games can adapt to this. They can be anything they want because they can bring you to a new experience and walk you through the experience instead of because like we said, directing an anime, you would never do that, but all of a sudden you're doing it in Asura's Wrath. You can there's tons of experiences you can have through a video game that you could never have before, and I think.
This leads perfectly to what I was talking to my girlfriend and I the other day, and we were trying to think of why like Wolf Among Us and Walking Dead Season 2 aren't coming out when they should be.
Yeah.
But like our ideal game would be like, say they're covering Game of Thrones soon, so that's a great example.
That's going to be
a
great.
Game of Thrones
Telltale.
where a new episode comes out every week. Like
I'm
when
not
the
gonna
show
lie,
would,
they're gonna get their hooks
and then
in
you
bad.
play through,
Yeah, I know.
and you play through it your own way. It's like watching the TV show, but you get to make the decisions, and then in between seasons you have to break while they make the next games for the next season, and then start releasing them every week. That would be a hell of an experience.
That would be.
It'd be fun, but I mean, there's definitely tons of games out there right now, mainly indie. I would like to say the AAAs are the ones aiming for that movie experience, because like you said, polish. They just want it to look great, but I'm playing Thomas Was Alone right now, and it's not in any way like a movie. You're squares and blocks, and I'm wholly entertained, and I think somebody would have fun watching a game like that.
I don't know how much fun it would be to watch me play Robot Unicorn Attack. I mean,
Yeah, right.
it's fun, but it's not really.
It's not a-
Look at that! Oh, we made that! Oh, that guy killed
Way to
him.
bring
not
up
a
a very
spectator
popular
sport.
title in today's universe.
I mean, like I think what it all goes back to is there's so many options. It's like when you walk into a place, you're not gonna. Well, they only have vanilla ice cream and they have chocolate ice cream. No, there's like a zillion flavors because everybody can get what they want. And I think that's what
Exactly.
gaming
There's no
is.
Zelda cutscenes. Like the Link Between Worlds is just top down, and when they have a scene, it's just top down, and you're kind of like,
it's scrolling through that text,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like. But
I
that's,
get it, old man. I have to get the sword. All right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but he doesn't
man.
just smash your. But I really think, yeah, like you said, it's whatever you want. You can get a game that is practically a movie, and you can get a game that is fully game, and AAA titles are very much so trending so much towards the movie thing, but just because they have budgets that exceed that of movies at this point. You know, they have more people than a movie working on it at this point. And I wouldn't say that it's a negative, I wouldn't say it's a positive, but certain games are trending more towards a movie and certain games aren't.
well, I got a question for you guys then. Do you think that movies are becoming more like video games.
Yeah, is their influence the other way around? That was going to be my wrap-up question.
I don't know. I thought about this a lot, and I was trying to think of like good like movies that are based on video games.
Yeah, there's
There
no
really
doubt that the
aren't-
IP transfers backwards. Like,
Yeah.
people will use that property in a movie, but is that really like the video
But I
game
feel
industry
like
affecting?
I feel
or
like they miss it a lot. Like
it's like a fan grab, really.
Like okay, the new Dread.
That was
It's
cool though.
spectacular. And I was like, man, if they're gonna make a movie tie-in for any movie, please be this. And there's no video game. I'm like, you could have got away with like really boring, basic level design where you're like, you're Judge Dredd and you sneer at the camera and you shoot bad guys. And I'd be like, I'm in. I want it.
Yeah.
Give me it. Like, how do I get
Just
that
keep
game?
going up floors.
Well,
They didn't do it. So
To prove the commerce of that, the Bourne movies, I always was like, these would make a great video game, and then they did, and
Oh,
I
and it
was
was
like,
awful.
this is horrible.
it's okay. That game's okay.
Or the
It's not
Matrix
as fun
video
as you
games.
think.
Oh,
Well,
but no, there's
Enter
some
the
cool-
Matrix was good.
Yes,
I refuse
absolutely.
to deny
I
that.
agree. I agree. That one had great cutscenes. You felt like you were in the Matrix. You went slow mo. It was sick.
It's like I'm living in Crazy Town. You see what I have to do.
You're the mayor. You're the mayor.
The
of
mayor of
Crazy
Crazy Town.
That's why you're all excited when you're coming into
No.
the you talk about the Matrix.
Well, there's the Matrix, Enter the Matrix, and there's the Matrix like Path of Neo, which is like
Which is
broken.
what?
It's just
That's-
like,
Yeah.
I'm Neo. I can break the Matrix. You're like, great.
We could talk about movies all day, but we probably shouldn't. Since
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we've yet to see a movie that you can watch, and well, there has been a few, but like in recent days, movies aren't trending towards choose your own experiences.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
that'd be
though.
crazy.
But that
That's
would be
what
called a
Telltale
video game,
Games
wouldn't
is,
it? The way I see it is, I'm sure when people started making movies, they'd be like, why would I see the movie? I'll read a book about it. What does a movie provide that a book
I
doesn't?
think
Yeah.
the way
You
that the
know?
technology trends is that video games are here and they can kind of like slough over into movies all they want, but movies cannot really go into
Yeah,
video
because
games
would
at all.
you play
The
a
technology limits
Would
it.
you play a 3DS like if you could have a 3DS that interacted with the theater, like if you could like interact with the movie through 3DS, would you do it, or would that just ruin the whole movie experience because you have a screen in front of you
Well, that
the
would work
entire
'cause you have
time?
too many people. Like,
It ruins the point of a movie is that everybody experiences the same thing.
Yeah, but what if you could get a DVD,
Is it
take it
though?
home, play your 3DS through the TV,
I think
or is
we're
that
looking
just
at it the
not
wrong
a
way. Like,
movie?
when I think about the way the video game industry has affected the movie industry, I look at sort of the opposite. So there's always like we're putting out a Transformers movie, let's make a video game tie-in.
Yeah.
And like and there's some of them been good. Like the first Iron Man game was okay. Like the Captain America game was solid. The Thor game was it was okay.
Harry Potter games were great.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Yeah.
been
I mean,
some
the
like
Lego
Harry
the Lego
Potter.
movie game. The Lego movie game is
Yeah.
awesome. So there have been some good ones, but I think it works. It doesn't work as well the other way. Like the Resident Evil movies.
No, there's so many bad video
The first
game
one was
movies.
good.
Right, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, there have been people where they're like, "Hey, let's take a video game and make a movie out of it." And I'm like, "Wow, there's a lot of good stuff to choose from." But yet, thanks to guys like Yuri Bowl, like they always pick the wrong
Yeah.
ones and they like destroy it. And then people are like, "Oh, what a nightmare that was! I'm never seeing that again." Or playing the video game.
Yeah, you're never gonna see a Legend of Zelda movie because like there was that fucked up television show back, the animated show. Like, well, excuse me, princess, is like
Well-
is it sits in a nerd's brain and just festers, you know, like, and it pisses you off, so you don't want any of it.
Well, what's his name? Who's the guy who did Peter Jackson was going to do a Halo movie?
Yeah,
would've been
I mean,
great,
it's in
like,
so,
3
in
times.
so
And that's
was,
what
the
became
District 9 guy.
yeah, that's what District 9 became because you notice there's definitely like Halo aesthetic to
They
that
started
movie.
working on that.
I think that's the positive way that a game can influence a movie is aesthetics and feel,
Yeah,
but I
bring
don't
in a
think it should.
fictional, like,
Yeah, look at
world of
Elysium.
Yeah.
Look at Elysium. Elysium is
That's
super
Halo.
heavy Halo involved.
Yeah,
I mean,
but, like,
they have exosuits and like crazy weapons and there's robots in it. Like I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, this movie's awesome.
But
Where's the
at
game?
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like you shouldn't take like. There's no reason like so Microsoft. It was like announced today that they're gonna make like an Age of Empires movie, and it's
Oh,
like,
God.
what? It's like why? Just make a normal movie based on history.
It's
like,
because they see Zack Snyder making multiple 300 movies and they're like, well, if he can make it money.
After they're all dead, we'll make another movie.
yeah, it can go either way with video game movies, right?
So I guess what the summit has determined, our ruling, our judgment, is that it goes both ways, but differently.
Thorough as always.
All right, that's all for our summit today. Come check us out on GAUstudios.com. Hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, all those great social media places. You can find the latest game reviews, news, tips and tricks, and videos, of course, if you like to watch games being played instead of actually playing them. That's all for the summit. I'm D3, over and out.